I'll be stupid. Because why? Fame and high-profile life gets into my head. Let's continue. Let's talk. Now, one of the things that challenge people, after they get married, they lose focus on pursuing their partner. They pursue their careers. They pursue their children. They focus on what is happening in their marriage. And they forget that they need to pursue their spouses all the time. Right? And that is why the marriage develop a whole lot of things that are coming up. Let me just read this statement. After marriage, people focus on the challenges in their marriages. They forget about the one another's love, right? To most women, they focus on raising their children. And to most men, they focus on making more money. And that's a big challenge. Because you've got to strike a balance. You've got to make money as a man. I'm not giving money a leeway to be poor. I'm not giving you a leeway to be poor. But I'm saying when you're married, you don't focus on making money. You forget that you have a woman in the house to pursue. You've got to pursue that woman. Why? Because let me tell you, I don't know if you notice, it feels good for a woman when somebody pursues them. I don't know if you realize that. It feels good for a woman when somebody pursues them. Now, if they are married, nobody will pursue them. You are the only one to pursue them. So if you are not giving her the pursuing, she's missing. And that is why sometimes, let me tell you, that is why one day you'll go home, you'll find your wife sitting with some other man. Why? Because you've never given her what she needs. Attention, pursuing. Women feel good when somebody say, "Ngiyakufuna yazi." They feel good about it. Why? Because it gives the impression they still look attractive. But if you, the husband, you are always reading the newspaper, you are always working, there is no time to pursue that woman. You want to make her feel bored in a marriage. And that is why at work, when brother so-and-so pursue her, she'll be tempted. And tomorrow you'll be coming and telling us, "Umfazi wami is fair, yes." And you forget that you made her to be there. It's your fault. Why? Because you never kept pursuing her and giving the attention she needs. Let me read. Like I'm saying, I'm just going to read these things for you quickly so that I don't take time, because I don't have time, right? Let me read this one for you. Okay. Like I'm saying, even to women, I think you've got to deal with the challenge in you to say, because of my husband. I'm sorry, because of my kids. Don't stay in a marriage for your kids. You are not there for your kids. Your kids are coming in your marriage. They are passing by. Let them pass. Okay? Don't stay for your children. They are passers by. Tomorrow they won't be there. When you are 50, 60, 70, you'll be with your husband or your wife alone in the house. So if you've never had time to build a relationship with that partner and build a relationship with your children, you are going to be bored. And it's going to be ugly when you start dating young girls and you're 70 years. It looks very ugly. And that is why we have granddad here who is always coming after school children. You know why? They never built any bond with their gogos. Now they want to trouble us. They see the nice figures, the nice thighs. They think they can still make good performance. Because people, they don't build the right things. They don't pursue their gogos. They never bonded. They were always working and looking for money. And yet when you look at them at their retirement age, they are still broke. The rest of their life have been working hard, never had time with a woman. And they are retired now. They are running after every school girl. And they are 70 years. So you've got to deal with those things so that you can build a bond to your wife. Now, let me just say this. If you are pursuing your spouse, you respond to relationship stress by moving towards your spouse. You've got to move towards them. So that means when you deal with that relational things, you are breaking that stress in a marriage. Because sometimes, let me tell you what causes the stress in there. It's because somebody is not getting the attention they need. And it starts building the stress in a marriage. So when you deal with the stress in your own personal life, go towards your woman. Let me just say something else here. I know some of the things I need to say them. When you study the human physiology, right? Sometimes when you study the Bible and study these things, look at what science is saying. I don't know if somebody has noticed that. Have you realized that when you are stressed and married, you have therapy in your home? You don't need counseling sometimes, right? You don't need to go somewhere else and chill. Because sometimes to men, I realize when men are angry, they want to walk out in the street and refresh and come back. Let me tell you sometimes what will heal you in your marriage. Sex. When you are stressed, you don't need to walk in the street. Go to your bed with your wife. And release the pressure. And that is why God gave you sex. Some people think God gave sex because they want to make babies. No, sex was given for you to release stress. And let me just check on my notes because some of the things I did not prepare for this session. Let me just say this. I don't remember if I picked up in my notes. Let me just read some of the things. I think I written something else here. Yes. I got it. Listen to this. God has given sex in marriage as a therapy to heal one another. Listen to what scientific proof says. It's a scientific fact. Sexual intimacy can also help reduce feelings of anxiety, depression, as it triggers the release of 3 mood-boosting chemicals. What did they call it? Dopamine, endorphins, and oxytocin. Those hormones in your body, some of the scientists, when they call this, they call them happy hormones. When you feel down and exhausted, sometimes you don't have to go to a spa and get a massage. You have a spa in your bedroom. Take the spa. It is, let me tell you, it is biologically built that way. That is why when you have stress, pursue your woman. To deal with stress, some people want to deal with stress. Some of people say, I want to go sit with my friends and drink booze so that I can remove stress. No, if you're married, you don't need booze. You don't need your friends. You need your sex from your woman. Then it will release everything. Physiologically, you are created that way by God. It's a scientific fact. And that is why I've written it down here. Some of those hormones that are written here, they are calling happy hormones. Stress releaser. So that is why as a married person, you've got to pursue your partner. Don't tell me you are bored and tired. Pursue it. When you feel stress, is the right time to go to your wife and say, can we go play in the bedroom? Go play. When you come out there, let me tell you, you are going to be fresh and relaxed. Some of you are tired every time. You know what you need? You don't need too much of resting and relaxation. You need sex. Some of you need sex. Let me just say this. These are the chemicals that are in your body. What do you call? Dopamine, endorphins, and oxytocin. Those are put in your system by God to release stress and bring a happy mood. And they are going to be released during sexual intercourse. And some of you, when you are mad at your woman, you don't want to talk. You don't need to talk. Go to the bedroom. You are going to come out there smiling. Why? Because that chemical reaction will release stress and pressure and anxiety. You are not going to worry about the rent that you cannot pay. You are not going to worry about the car that you cannot afford. You are not going to worry about the school fees that you did not pay. Once you come out of the room, the mood is high. You are going to go to your children and say, sidlaleni umlabalaba, because the mood is good. The chemicals are released to build a good mood. You are healed. You are healed. Some of you are doing funny things to deal with these things. Pursue your woman. Pursue her. That is why you've got to give yourself an assignment on her life. What are you going to do to release that pursuing? Like I'm saying, I've given myself a mandate to release that pursuing in me by taking care of the underwears and the bras. Because if you don't do it, you are going to be bored. Because you feel like you have achieved. Send him for man. Send him for man and let me tell you, when you find that woman, it's not when you finish your job. That's when you started your job. Because that job now demands you until you quit this planet Earth. You started a job, so you've got to finish what you started. So keep on pursuing her. Let me just move quickly from another, because like I said, I don't want to spend a whole lot of time. I don't have time. I want to talk about this pursuing, but I think I've given you some hinges to study it so that you can be able to deal with it. Let me come from this point, giving. The law of marriage is giving. Like I said, I've mentioned it before, and I'm going to just read it. Let me just read that I did. A successful marriage is between two people who intend to give to one another. A successful marriage is between two people who are intentional in giving. That means if you are married to a person, don't try to find what you can get from that person. Look for what you can give to that person. When you marry a person, you don't want to get something from them. Because let me say this, the way the world has set up our minds, we're in this mentality that if I get married to so-and-so, they own a car, they own a big house in this suburb, and they own that, I'm going to be the, no. Don't go into marriage with that kind of thinking. You are thinking poor. Huh? You're a poor thinker. I'm not saying when you're getting married to a person that has achieved in life, you're not going to benefit. I'm not trying to withhold those blessings. If you are married to a person that has already achieved certain things, that's good. You are blessed, right? But you're not going into a marriage so that you can own what they have. You are going into a marriage because you have something to give to them. Remember, no matter how much you have in life, you cannot be enough from receiving a gift. Nobody in this world will tell you, I have everything that I have. I don't need anything to be given to me. Let me just say this. Have you realized I have a ministry? Huh? Have you realized that I have a business? Do you think I'm enough with money? No. Why? Because the more I do in ministry, the more I need money. Some people might be thinking, Umfundi is very rich. There's nothing you can give to him because he's got it. No. Actually, I need more money. I need more people to give to me so that I can do more in what I'm doing. So every person is that way, right? No matter how successful you are financially, you still need something added to you. Now, in marriage, no matter how satisfied and how much you have achieved in life, you still need somebody who can give to your life. And your spouse should be the first person to be giving to you. So you'll never tell me you are enough with everything in life that you don't need your spouse to give anything. Actually, let me tell you, everything that comes from your spouse, even if it does not look significant, for you becomes significant. I don't know if you've noticed that. Your wife can bring you a bottle of water. You see these waters, the bottles that are on here? She can bring that home and say, darling, I remembered you this during the day, and then I bought this bottle specially for you. That water tastes different than any other water that you bought in the store. Why? Because that mindset in her to give you something, it always go out of this world. Now, some people think, Pastor Padu is rich, he does not need anything, yeah, he's already got the car, the house, the money, and the fame. No, I need more. And I'm still having a lot of holes in me that needs to be filled with gifts. And that is why there will be no time that I say to this woman, don't give anything anymore. Why? Because I still need more from her. I still need more from people to give to me. Understand? Because I'm never filled with gifts. Never. So, when you go into a marriage that succeeds is a marriage between two people who wants to give to one another. Not those who want to take from one another. Because some people come into a marriage and say, she's got a BMW, I'm going to have a BMW. He's got a house, I'm going to get that house. Don't go into that marriage like that. Ask yourself, when you say I'm going to marry so and so, what are you bringing to them? What are you going to give them? Because let me tell you, when you can have idea what you're going to give to the person you're going to marry, you will never have enough of that person the rest of your life. Because the reason you are bored in a marriage is because you don't have anything to give to them and you don't even know what to do. Because you went with the mentality to take from them. Like I said, most men went in the mentality, I'm going to take sex from that woman. And once they get it, there's nothing much to do. So, giving is one of the essentials in marriage. Very much important. So, a successful marriage is between two people who do what? Who give to one another. Those people will succeed when everybody fails. Why? Because they never get enough to do for each other the rest of your life. There is always something to do for your spouse. And there is something to do for your spouse towards you the rest of your life. And that is why you will never get to the end of your marriage. You are always going to go higher and higher when you want to give to each other. Right, let's proceed. Giving is one of the most important components in a marriage, right? Let's quickly look to the book of Colossians chapter 3. I want to show you something else there. I'm trying to catch up with time. I love Amplified because sometimes when you read Amplified, it gives you more things to deal with, right? Listen to what the Apostle Paul says. He says, verse 14, beyond all these things, put on you and wrap yourselves in unselfish love. We dealt with it. Love has never been a selfish thing. It has nothing to do with your own interest. It's always dealing with the interest of another person. And if you're growing in love, you should be growing in considering others than yourself. I know we are living in the world and saying, I'm going to start to love me more than others. Self-love. I see it on social media every day. Now I'm getting serious with life. I don't have time for people who don't have time for me. I only have time for those who they're getting selfish. And people are thinking they're intelligent now. Let's read the Bible. Beyond all these things, put on and wrap yourself in unselfish love, which is a perfect bond of unity. Now listen to this. I want to see you see something. Love, which is a perfect bond of what? That means if you are selfish, you will never have a perfect bond with your wife. Selfish people never get perfect in their bonding. And that is why people are always fighting in marriage. Yeah, when you when you are this and that. Why? Because there's never a perfect bond, because people have never learned to love in a marriage by being selfless. It's always what they want. Everything must be done according to their understanding. If everybody who does not understand or see things the way they see them, they feel everybody is stupid. And some of people, they go to an extent and say, I wonder because why? Because for them, everybody who does not see the way they see things, they think that person is stupid. Now, Paul is very clear here, folks. Let's just read. Where am I? Verse 14. Oh, my Bible. Oh, it's moving around. 12, 13. Yeah, let's read. Beyond all these things, put on you and wrap yourself in unselfish love, which is a perfect bond of unity. Now, when you put a perfect love in your relationship, you will always have a bond, right? That means you'll always be unified. Well, you see what giving will do to you? It will bring you together. Selfishness make you put you apart of one another. When you see people going separate ways in their marriage, it's not because sometimes people say, No. You will never love a person and go apart. There's no such thing. You were selfishly doing it because love will always bring a perfect bond between two people. And let me tell you what kind of love. Unselfish one. The one that is considerate. The one that does not think about what I believe. You must see it my way. That's not how you live with people. People should not see how you see it. When are you going to see the way they see it? Huh? Because selfish love always think it's more righteous than any other person. They don't have to see it your way. If you want them to see your way, explain it to them and get them to that place. Like I always say, sometimes I wonder, because one of the problems in the church, we have so many men who does not know God and they are born again. And they have nothing to give to their women. And that is why sometimes, let me say this, why most marriages are weak. Most men don't know God in their marriage. And let me tell you, men supposed to be teaching their wives God. But most times, women are teaching men God. And that is why there is so much chaos in marriages. You find women powerful, knowing God, knowing how to pray. Oh, the only thing man knows is to watch television and read newspaper and go to church on Sunday. Never pray, never give. They don't even think, today is Sunday, how much are we giving to the church? No. Most men, they don't think that way. When they have money, they don't talk too much. Why? Otherwise, the woman will ask, how much are we giving? Why? Because most men in their homes are more immature. And that is why there is so much fighting. Because men are immature, women know God better than men in the house. And that is why it creates so much imbalance. Because if men knew these things, men will establish a love relationship in the home that brings people together than dividing. Because let me tell you, if I'm not taking a lead in my house will be filled with chaos. I've got children in the home, right? If I'm not taking the lead spiritually, my children will fight one another. That means I must take up the lead spiritually to curb the chaos in the home. And today we have women who say, I'm also like men, I can lead the home. No, you are not built that way. Don't try. Men, take your place. Be spiritual enough to take it. Because leading the home does not need human mentality. It needs spirituality. You cannot lead your home by just being one of those logical. No, you lead your home because of your spirituality. And if you are poor spiritually, your home is a chaos. And you will never stop it. I don't care how much discipline you are. If you are not spiritual enough, you'll never stop the chaos in your home. Why? Because it will take love to bond the unit, to bring the unity in a home. And love is, let me tell you, love is not carnal, it's spiritual. Love is spiritual. So the only way to bring your home together is to walk in the spirit of love. Like I'm saying, most men are spiritual babies. It's so frightening to come into their homes because why? You find women knowing God, men just sitting there and hanging around doing nothing. That's all. That's all. So let's just get read. Let's read this statement before we move. Listen to this. Never go into a marriage relationship to get from other person, but rather go into with the attitude to give to your spouse. Never go into a marriage to get. That means don't marry somebody because they have a house or a car or money. Don't marry them for that. Right? I'm not saying those things are not important in marriage, but don't marry them for that. Marry them because there is something that you are going to give to them. That means when you go into a marriage, you might be saying, darling, I have a lot of love, a lot of money that I want to share with. You must go into a marriage to share with somebody else. Like I'm saying, I see most young men when they grow up, I am funukchata because in funukuchimaliam, you're growing in selfishness. You should be making money so that you can give to a woman. What do you think they need to do? They are here for money and your money. And that is why God gave you the energy to work, to make money, so that you can give to them. Why? So that you cannot be selfish. Because if God can give you a lot of money and you don't have the purpose to give, you are going to be a selfish idiot. And you are going to fail in life. So you are making a lot of money so that you can give. That is why you have the energy to work so hard in life. Let's read going forward. People who goes into a marriage relationship with a tendencies to get something from the other shrink back in their minds and they become small. But people with a giving attitude always grow bigger and better. If you're going into a marriage with a tendency to get from somebody else, let me tell you, you are going to be a problem in that marriage. Most people who wants to get from others, let me use the statement that we usually use in the world. They have a mind of a peanuts. And how frustrating to stay in a home with somebody with a small mind. And all they do, they want to reduce you to the peanuts they have in their head. That's a bad space to be. Bad space to be. Because why? They're always trying to block you when you give. I live with a crazy woman. She always wants to give. And let me tell you, I love it. Why? Because she's always challenging me. How much are we giving this month to this ministry? How much are we? Sometimes I even forget that in the ministry. I'm so focused on my ministry that I forget to give to other ministries. And she'll always come, darling, we have so much money in the bank. How much are we giving to Kenneth Copeland? I forgot about it. I forgot that I'm a partner. This month, darling, we have so much in the account. How much are we giving to Creflo? Darling, I'm so exhausted with what I'm doing here. I'm so focused. I even forget that I'm a partner to Creflo Dollar. And I have to give. Sometimes she comes to me, darling, we have so much money in the account. How much are we sending to Bill Winston? Oh, darling. Why? Let me tell you, when you think that way, you don't shrink. But when you always want to keep it, you become smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller. At the end of the day, by the time you know it, you have nothing. And that is why, let me tell you, that is why you see in our marriage, we never get small. Some of the people who my cousin know, we went to Bible school together. She used to give me 20 rand to come back home when I go to Bible school. You remember that? When we are seated together in class, sometimes I'll say to you, Kazi, I can hire a taxi. She'll go into her purse and say, here's the 20 rand. Right? Knowing me from that time to now, you realize that I've become different. I've grown. And I keep growing. But if I was not doing the giving that I'm doing, I'll be still going to her and say, see, Alessandra, you're not 20 rand. She's married, I'm married. Now, how does she still give me the 20 rand? What she did 20 years ago, she still have to do it now. It's embarrassing. Because I'm stagnant, I'm shrinking. But when you go into a marriage with a person with an attitude to give, you're always going to grow. If you've got an attitude to give, let me tell you, when you give, you don't lose, you grow. And that is why I always tell you, all the houses we have with my wife, they are paid cash. We never paid a bond in our lives. And we acquired our properties in 5 years. Right? Why? Because we have learned to just grow in giving rather than in keeping. And that is why we don't shrink back. We don't shrink back. Because once you start keeping things for yourself, you become smaller and smaller and smaller. And that is why some of you are so poor. Why? Because you think about how you can keep it for yourself rather than giving it. That is why the Bible says, blessed is the one that gives than the one that receives. Blessed is the hand that gives than the one that receives. So you are not blessed when you receive. You are blessed when you give. And that is what I'm saying to you. We've never paid for a bond in our marriage. And all the properties were done in 5 years. All of them. Why is it happening so? Because the giving increases you, make you better and bigger. We've been doing television for almost 3 years with my wife. We've never taken an offering from people for television bills. Why are we, and we keep growing the television ministry. Why is it becoming better and bigger? The giving. So let me tell you, God has designed giving to grow you. And most of you, because you are born in the world, you are set up, your mind is set up according to the world. You think what makes you more money is when you save it. There's nothing wrong with saving. But in the kingdom of God, what grows your money is giving. And that is why when you get married, let me just say it, don't marry a stingy man. Don't. Because you are going to shrink. He's going to be stingy even to give you. And that is why some of you are married, your husband never bought you a thing since you are married. You're still wearing the things that you bought when you were a girl. Your husband does not even know what size are you wearing on your body. Why? Because you marry stingy people. You marry stingy people. Amen. So we've got to understand why God wants us to do certain things. So when you get into a marriage, you don't go in there with the attitude to get. You get in there with the attitude to give so that you can become better. My wife and I are married since 2007. The things that we have done and achieved as a couple, they could be done for a lifetime. Like I'm saying, we have properties. They cost over 22 million. None of those properties were bought through a bank. None. And it was done with just a period of 5 years. Why? Because when we give, we became bigger and better. Because we have the same mind. Actually, sometimes we compete in giving. When she comes to me and say, when are we giving to so and so? I'm also thinking, she's beaten me. I must come up with something to give.